Hi everyone, it is that time of year. We're coming up on New Year's resolutions or manifestations and maybe a higher stress level, and you just typed into YouTube how to find my purpose. And you're looking at me to answer some questions or to give you direction on how to find your purpose. But if we're really being honest here, whatever I'm going to tell you is my own interpretation based off from the things that I've experienced or read or watched or listened to, or the lessons that I've learned on my journey. And so they apply to me. And so with everything on this journey that we all go on, it's that you take the nuggets that apply to you and you get rid of the rest and you formulate something that works for you. Because I'm guessing that if you typed in find my purpose, you also discovered, along with this video, you discovered the video that said find your purpose in 3 easy steps or 5 easy steps, or I think there's one for, find it in 15 minutes. So you need to take care of yourself and not listen to anyone blindly, but maybe take some nuggets out of what people have to say. So the best that I can do is to offer you the lessons that I've learned, the experiences that I've had along my journey, and quite honestly, my current struggles, because I am in the midst, on the stove right now of the struggle for myself. And what is hysterical is that I wrote a book. I published a book that came out 3 years ago that has this very thing in it. It is our purpose, and it concludes the book. And so that means I started writing it 4+ years ago, published it 3 years ago. We just keep learning the lessons. So let me go ahead and share my current conundrum with you, if you don't mind, and maybe you have some similar struggles that you might find this helpful in some way, and then we can kind of dig into it after that. Recently, my little family, we went to California for a college visit, as well as visiting some family while we were there. So it was kind of a quick trip, but we squeezed a lot into it. Oh, and off topic, but I guess maybe not, is that my youngest and I took one of our free days and went golfing together. And as I might have started on the first or second hole, we had a little visitor. We had a coyote, and we ran into this coyote on 4 different holes, I'm guessing 4 or 5. And so if you're out there and you see the irony in this whole thing, coyote is trickster, and I may not have seen it at the time, but it has since made me chuckle as everything is for me. So anyway, later in our stay, I had the opportunity to spend the afternoon with I'm going to call her my sister-in-law, and we had this lovely chat before going to the Huntington Gardens, which are beautiful and amazing. And we were sitting there eating, and the conversation kind of rolled into me and where I am and what my struggles are. And so I shared that I was really not knowing what direction to go, because the book and getting the message of the book out is kind of the thing up here that I feel this pull to do. But as we all learn, as we're trying to get a book out into the world, it takes a lot of other things. For instance, creating a website, getting on social media, which I wasn't. I create a newsletter and have for coming up on 5 years now. I co-hosted a podcast for over a year. I've done a friend's Patreon, Facebook Live thing for 2 years. Let's see, and then this YouTube. And I don't know what the right thing to do is. And I feel like I may lose sight of what the ultimate goal is. And so that's what I'm struggling with, because in doing all these other things, it's all very time consuming. And, it's not profitable until it is. Does that make sense? And so balancing what I think is my purpose, but am I getting caught up in the weeds, so to speak? Not calling all you weeds, but you know what I'm saying. Because is creating YouTube videos my passion? Probably not, but getting Is it getting the message out? Well, then YouTube works for that. So my content needs to support that. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I'm struggling with. And as our conversation flowed, she had this, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase it because I can't remember exactly how she said it, but she said, does your purpose need to be any more than who you are bringing out into the world? And it hit me like a ton of bricks because, ironically, my first book that I just mentioned, that's how the book, it's included in the book. Our purpose is included in the book, and it concludes with our purpose. And I have just lost sight of that and hadn't realized it. And so now I feel like I'm backpedaling a little bit to try to figure that out. I'm struggling with it. I'm having all these same struggles that I had 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, 7 years, 8 years ago. And, you know, as I stated in the book, I feel like we all have an individual purpose, and the little overachievers that we all can be want to try to figure that out. And then we want to put an action plan and a to-do list on it. And we put all this pressure on it when ultimately the overall or overarching goal that we all have is to bring love and light and kindness and compassion and gratitude out into the world. And if we all did that, this world is tremendous, right? So if we can focus on that part, which is kind of what my sister-in-law was saying, then does it need to be any more than that? So, you know, just to get back to and finish up my story, is that I think, you know, we step off this expectation train at our age. I'm 53 currently, and you know, something usually triggers us to get off. I know that was the case for me at 45, and we work through a lot of things, which we'll get into in a minute, and we think we find our passion, but time goes by and maybe we lose sight of that. We haven't kept our, you know, the true thing that we know is our purpose kind of sitting right in front of us all the time, to make sure that everything is always bringing us back there. And I think that's what happened to me. I think I just lost track of that, and why, because we get those to-do lists going and we keep stepping forward. And so it went from, for me, the Facebook Live thing to the podcast, to the YouTube, and I needed to reel it back in and make sure I'm doing things for the right purpose. And the other part is the financial stress that we put on it. And I've gone back and forth on this. You know, I can convince myself on any given day that if I put all my energy to what I'm doing now and not kind of my old livelihood, then I can place more energy on it, right? But if I'm 2 feet on both places, then less energy is going over here. With that said, there's a great book out there by Elizabeth Gilbert called Big Magic, and she makes the point that if you put the financial stress on your creative endeavors or what your passion is, we'll just place it all together there, then it puts too much pressure there. Like, keep that side gig going or the main gig going so that you can place kind of only love over here. And she said, you know, her big break was with Eat, Pray, Love. And she said even up to when that was kind of, I don't know if hitting the shelves or the movie got picked up or what it was, she was working 2 jobs. So, you know, there's different schools of thought to that, and I kind of want to land in the middle someplace, but I haven't figured out a way to do that either. But anyway, okay, enough about me. So let's talk about all of you for a minute. How do you find your purpose in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond? I have to be honest, I can't tell you the exact answer. I'm so sorry. But here's what I can tell you, and I think it will move us in the right direction, or move you in the right direction. And they are mostly questions to start asking yourself as well. So I would say the first thing for anybody is to start doing work on yourself before you can look outward and try to find your purpose. We all have baggage to drop and things to heal. So that can be a long process, and so you might as well get started with that. The other thing is to start thinking about what lights you up, and get moving toward that. If it's some creative endeavor, start creating. Stop making excuses. We all make excuses on time, or it's silly, or it's kids play, or whatever it is. Find that time. And it may be something different. Maybe it's going out and volunteering. Like, we can get started now, and the excuse of time, we need to stop that a little bit. And widen our awareness, or widen your awareness, so that you do project those qualities out into the world more often. The love, the light, the kindness, compassion, and truly gratitude, and have it in your life, your daily life, small things, the big things, everything. It changes the way you see the world. So that is like a big piece of advice I have for you. The other is expose your senses kind of more intentionally, I guess, especially get out in nature more. But I would say, find the gratitude in those things, see things more deeply, listen more deeply, taste, appreciate. Gratitude just changes our perception of everything. Embrace your creativity, as I mentioned, because we're all creative souls, even if we think we are not. And being creative wakes us up. And for anybody into the chakras, it's one of our lower ones. And as we creating begats creating, I guess is what I'll say, because I didn't think that I was a creative person, quite honestly. Consuming knowledge, consuming experiences. Don't just consume and then move on with your day. Consume and do something with it. Somehow integrate it into your life. If you find a nugget there, I keep going back to nuggets. Every book that I read, I try to pluck out what pieces apply to me at this moment, because I could read a book at another time and new nuggets will hop out to me. So I try to bring them out, integrate them in. I mean, I have some things that I read when I started this little journey, and they're still part of my sometimes daily routine. So that's my advice there. And there's so many other things that we can do. It's so not an all-inclusive list, but the intentional living, like setting intentions every day, or manifestation. There's so many things that can just move us in the right direction of finding what lights us up and finding our purpose. I feel like there's a light cord that connects us, like an umbilical cord, to our purpose, and we just have to kind of still ourselves to find that. But know that there's no exact formula, and sometimes we have to have those misses to find what doesn't work as well. And ironically enough, or kind of cruelly enough, and sometimes we evolve, and so things change. The goalpost gets pushed out just as we think we're going to reach it, and things change. So we should be forever growing, because stagnation does not behoove this vessel of ours. And I think that's my advice. I know it's probably different than what some people are posting out there. It's not a 1, 2, 3, because I don't think we can really do that for everybody. But you need to look to you to see what makes sense and what works for you. And, you're the one that makes the magic happen. I think it's great to listen to podcasts and to watch YouTube videos and to read books. But that doesn't take you to the next step. You somehow have to bring it in and create the life that you wish to have for yourself. And with that, I'm going to leave you in front of my little Christmas tree here and my hot chocolate, because I'm very much a grown-up. I had hot chocolate and marshmallows for this. So take care of yourselves. Thank you for visiting with me today. Thank you for being my counseling session as well. And I hope you will join me back next time. Be well and keep stepping forward.